Roll your eyes. That's right. When stupid shit is coming at you, roll your eyes. We have evolved to do this naturally, instinctively. Why? Because it changes our brain. It literally releases tension and slips us into parasympathetic response, which is the relaxation response. So I know your mother told you never to roll your eyes. That's because it transmits a lot of information, consciously and unconsciously. And it is a self-soothing, as well as defensive, technique. So when the shit gets real and people are in your face, whether it's, a comment, the news, or an actual person, feel free to roll your eyes. Stop. When you're feeling overwhelmed, start by doing this. Bringing your awareness to your sensory system. That takes some fire away from where it had been in the brain. Pay attention to how it feels. Even hear the sound that your hands are making. Feel the friction. Just take a moment to bring all of your awareness to your senses, right? Then you're going to take a deep breath in. As you exhale twice as long, you start by pushing and then following those hands with your peripheral awareness, shifting into peripheral vision, as if you could expand peripherally beyond those hands to all that space behind you. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, imagine that nice bubble around you. This is defense against the dark arts, after all. Begin touching each finger with your thumb, bringing your awareness to the pressure. Vary the tempo, vary the pressure, and so that you keep your mind engaged only on those fingers. Taking a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, got it? When I do that, I like to go, fuck off. But that's me. You choose your own words wisely. Next time you're feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, where is this feeling in my body? Then ask yourself, where isn't it? Where's everywhere that it isn't? Notice what that does. Or what is it like? And then, what isn't it like? Notice what that does. Or as my friend John would say, what's everything I'm not noticing that's not that? Feel that one. What's everything I'm not noticing that's not that? You see, your dominant hemisphere, your left brain, can't answer that because it's sequential, it's linear. It would take forever. So it throws it to the right for a moment, essentially giving you an out, destabilizing what your brain had been doing so that you can find a doorway out. If I say, what's everything I'm not noticing that's not that, that's good, I'm starting to directionalize consciousness. Where do I want it to go? Because if you're paying attention these days, you're going to feel overwhelmed, right? And we need to pay attention. So we need to be able to downregulate. We need to be able to, calm ourselves for critical thought so that we can see what's bullshit, what's not. What's pageantry and what's real. So we know where to fight. Right? So we know how to take the next step, how to move through it. I ask myself other questions then. How can I help? What do I need to do? What's the next smallest step I can take? Right? And whether that's making constant daily phone calls to your representatives, whether it's hitting the streets, or whether it's being kind. At this point in this climate, every act of kindness, every act with compassion is also a form of resistance, right? Be kind. Be the very thing they can't be. Seriously, that too is resistance. There's a lot going on, and I know a lot of people are freaking out, myself included. So again, defense against the dark arts. You need to self-regulate. You need to keep your shit together so that we can be aware and not lose our shit, yeah? So the first thing to do is drop your jaw. Now by dropping your jaw, maybe relaxing the back of your tongue, that helps to downregulate through the vagus nerve, your entire nervous system. By doing this, as you see, if someone's having a conversation with you and upsetting you or annoying you and you do this, they'll get uncomfortable, possibly shut up. Or if you're by yourself, feel free to do all this. This comes from havening, but it's something that most of us do naturally. You know, we do this stuff instinctively. I'll leave in the comments some of the science of what's going on in the brain, the delta waves and things like that. Then cross your arms and really rub your shoulders, and this time really pay attention to the senses. Pay attention to how it feels. And as you're doing that, you can first pay attention to how it feels, then pay attention to 3 to 5 things you hadn't been noticing visually, right? As you look around, take in 5 things you hadn't noticed. Do the same auditorily, right? What are you hearing that you hadn't been hearing, right? Do this, bring your awareness to your senses again. This is bilateral stimulation, along with havening, along with downregulating through the vagus nerve, and it will help you to stop the spiral, then refocus, yeah? Time for more defense against the dark hearts, because boy, we need it today. We need it every day. What the hell's happening? But this morning, when I found myself spiraling and my internal dialogue was saying like, this is a nightmare. What the fuck is happening? This is a nightmare. I had the wherewithal to just practice what I preach. And instead of this is a nightmare, I switched to that was a nightmare. Because the language of space and time can really help us here. Feel the difference between this is a nightmare and that was a nightmare. It gives you a little space, right? There's the difference between this and that. Feel it. That dissociates. And obviously is and was. But try this, right? Say to yourself, I feel, and notice where you feel it. Now say, I felt. How does your brain do that one? I felt. What about I will feel? Or even further, I will have felt. What does that do? How does your brain code it? Notice the difference, right? They're all stops on this continuum of time and space. So as someone who's been politically active my entire life, marched on Washington and protested even before I was old enough to vote. I even did like punk rock the vote when I was younger. I'm used to raging at this machine. I am used to it. I am not used to sobbing. That's new for me. So this is what helped me today. Give yourself a little space, a little time. Create the distance. I mean, I could go way deep down this rabbit hole, but I think that's enough for today. Because boy, we fucking need it, right? Another day, another installment of defense against the dark hearts. I was just walking on the beach and I had this idea because as I'm walking, I start ruminating, right? Because. And as I'm starting to spiral and feel this negative emotion while I'm on this beautiful fucking ocean, I hit this anchor that I've been installing as part of my experimentation for a class I'm doing called Deep Trance Magic. And what it is an anchor for curiosity. It's an anchor for transformation. So I've been practicing transforming emotions, right? Negative emotions into something else. But adding a dose of curiosity so I don't have to know what that something else is. And I link that anchor, right, to this question, what can it become? So I started to think, is there a way to share this with people without the need for a deep trance installation, without the whole magical ritual that is around this thing that I've created? And here's the way we're gonna do it. So anytime you're feeling curious, and I would look for it. I mean, curiosity is one of those things I reach for, right? Whether you're curious now to hear what I'm saying or how you could use this, that's one way, but go through the day, look for moments where you're curious, and every time you can feel that curiosity, anchor it, right? Just when I say anchor, it's just a kinesthetic anchor to kind of grab this state. And so once you do this throughout the day, looking for moments where you're curious or moments where you kind of transfer out of a state, laughter will do that, right? Laughter is like a doorway out. So laughter, curiosity, anchor it. And this gets anchored into this idea, right? I want you to think to yourself every time you anchor it, what can this become? What can this become? And for me, it became this idea. Can I share it without the deep trance installation? I think I can. I think it can work. But you let me know how it works for you.